In the heart of the swamp, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the orc Nars stood at the edge of a murky pond, his reflection distorted in the rippling water. The swamp was quiet, save for the occasional croak of a hidden creature and the soft rustling of wind through the trees. Nars's massive frame, crowned with a long mane of jet-black hair that marked him as a centauroid, was tense, his muscles coiled with anticipation. His blood, green in its normal state, was already beginning to thrum with the heat of battle, a red hue creeping into his veins. He had felt the call of Yinragash for days, the worm's whisper gnawing at the back of his mind. The time had come for him to prove his worth once again, to face the one who had dared to challenge his right to lead the Guildhall. Nars clenched his fists, feeling the hard ridges of his knuckles press into his palms, a reminder of the countless battles he had fought and won. But this one was different. This one was personal. The challenger was not just any orc, but one who had once served as Nars's closest ally, an orc who had risen through the ranks with a ferocity that rivaled his own. But as the orc grew in power, so too did his ambition, until finally he had dared to challenge Nars for the mantle of leadership. Nars could still remember the orc's eyes, cold and calculating, as he issued the challenge. There was no room for hesitation in this fight. Only one would leave the battlefield in the same state. He had known this day would come. It is not the way of a full orc to kneel to another. As Nars moved through the swamp, his every step was a deliberate stride towards the inevitable confrontation. The weight of the spear strapped across his back was a comfort, the finely inlaid carvings a testament to his skill as both a warrior and an artist. He had crafted this spear himself, pouring hours into shaping the steel and embedding the memories of his ancestors into the metal. The weapon hummed with power, a physical manifestation of his connection to Yinragash and the Guildhall. He finally reached the clearing where the battle would take place. The ground was churned and muddy, a perfect arena for the bloody contest that was about to unfold. Nars saw his opponent standing at the far edge, his body already swollen with the battle fever. The challenger's muscles bulged obscenely, his skin stretched tight over the immense bulk of his torso. His jaw was unhinged, exposing rows of jagged teeth that glinted in the dim light. Nars's own muscles responded, in kind, his body inflating as he prepared for the fight. The two orcs circled each other, their eyes locked in a silent exchange of challenge and defiance. Nars could feel the blood pounding in his head, the pressure building until his vision narrowed to a tunnel focused solely on his opponent. The challenger lunged first, a blur of motion as he aimed a devastating blow at Nars's midsection. But Nars was ready. He sidestepped the attack, swinging his spear in a wide arc that caught the inferior orc across the shoulder, drawing a spray of green blood that quickly turned red as it mixed with the air. His target roared in pain, but Nars did not relent. He pressed his advantage, driving them back with a flurry of strikes, each one aimed at the weak points he had learned from years of fighting alongside his former ally. The challenger was strong, but Nars was stronger. He could see the desperation in the eyes of the soon-to-be bested orc, the realization that it had overestimated its own abilities. With a final powerful thrust, Nars drove his spear into the soon-to-be drone's chest, piercing the thick muscle and driving the breath from his lungs. Then with an even greater tug, Nars ripped the orc in twain. The drone collapsed to the ground, gasping for air as his body began to deflate, the battle fever leaving him as quickly as it had come. Nars stood over him, his chest heaving with exertion, his blood singing with the thrill of victory. As the drone lay at his feet, Nars could see the spark of recognition in his eyes. The drone knew that his challenge had failed, that he would now be consigned to the life of a drone, serving under the very orc he had sought to overthrow. Nas knelt beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You fought well," Nas said, his voice low and steady. "But this is my Guildhall, and Ynragash's flame burns within me." The drone nodded weakly, accepting his fate. Nas stood and turned away, his thoughts already shifting to the future. The Guildhall needed him, and there were battles yet to be fought. But tonight, he had proven once again that he was the strongest, that the flames of Ynragash would continue to burn brightly in the Shattered Star. As Nas made his way back through the swamp, he could feel the eyes of the night creatures watching him, sensing the power that radiated from his every step. He was Nas, leader of the Shattered Star, and no one would dare challenge him again